They called it the City of Second Chances, a place where anyone, no matter how poor, broken, or lost, could start over. But beneath the glittering skyline of St. Alderon, something sinister was spreading like rot beneath polished marble. It began quietly. A missing street vendor here, a factory worker there, a homeless teenager last seen near the gates of St. Alderon Medical Center, a hospital so prestigious that even its name carried weight. At first, no one cared. People in the lower districts went missing all the time. The police logged them as runaways or drug-related disappearances. But then, bodies began to surface. 2 at first, then 4, all missing vital organs, hearts, kidneys, livers, removed with precision only a trained surgeon could manage. The victims weren't mutilated. They were operated on. Within 3 months, missing person reports had surged by 300%. That was when the city realized something monstrous was hiding in plain sight, under mounting public outrage. The mayor called an emergency press conference, flanked by officers and cameras. He promised swift justice and transparency. To lead the case, the city formed a new special unit, the Blacklight Task Force, composed of hand-picked detectives, forensic experts, and tactical agents. At its head, Detective Sarah Quinn. Quinn was known for her discipline and sharp instincts, a woman who cracked 3 serial cases in her first year. But this was different. The deeper her team looked, the more questions they found. No fingerprints, no witnesses, no trace of struggle at any abduction scene. It was as if these people had simply vanished from the streets. Then came the first clue, a medical bracelet. It belonged to a missing man named Eli Navarro, a part-time cleaner at St. Alderon Medical Center. The bracelet was found in an alley less than a mile from the hospital. On the surface, St. Alderon Medical Center was everything the city prided itself on: spotless halls, world-class technology, and an award-winning transplant program. But Quinn noticed something odd. The hospital's organ transplant success rate had nearly tripled in the last year, the same period the disappearances had spiked. When she requested the donor list, the hospital administration refused, citing patient confidentiality. That was the first red flag. Her team obtained a warrant anyway. The donor names were coded: Anonymous A, Anonymous B, Donor 32. But when cross-checked with city health records, none of those donors officially existed. Then came something worse. The medical examiner found traces of a sedative, Kettler, a hospital-grade anesthetic, in the victim's blood. Something only a licensed medical professional could access. 3 days later, one of Quinn's informants, a nurse named Lydia Mendez, contacted her in secret. Lydia claimed that after-hours surgeries were taking place in restricted wings of the hospital, with staff who weren't part of any official roster. She handed Quinn a flash drive, whispering, "If anything happens to me, this will tell you why." Hours later, Lydia's car was found burned on the outskirts of the city. Her remains were never officially identified. When the task force checked the drive, it contained fragments of video files, distorted, grainy, time-stamped between midnight and 3 a.m., operating rooms, covered bodies, and surgeons working without badges or recorded patient data. And in one of the frames, a blurred silhouette wearing a hospital ID tag that read simply, Dr. Leon Hart. Dr. Hart was a celebrated transplant specialist, known for performing miracles on terminal patients. When questioned, he smiled calmly and said, "Detective, I've dedicated my life to saving people, not harming them. You're chasing ghosts." But his financial records told a different story. Offshore accounts, unexplained transfers, donor bonuses paid to show companies connected to wealthy patients on transplant waiting lists. Still, Quinn couldn't touch him. Every warrant request was denied. Every lead she pushed was blocked by city officials. And then, her home phone rang one night. A distorted voice said, "Stop digging, detective. You don't want to end up on the donor list." Despite the threats, Quinn pressed on. Her team prepared for a coordinated raid on St. Alderon Medical Center. But hours before the operation, every piece of evidence disappeared from the precinct database. When she stormed into the server room, the access logs showed a familiar name: Captain Mark Reeves. her own deputy commander. She didn't want to believe it until she found him on security footage, shaking hand with Dr. Hart in a hospital corridor. Reeves confessed when confronted. "It's bigger than the city, Sarah," he said quietly. "You can't fight this. We're all replaceable." He claimed the organ network was funded by private investors, people so powerful that even the government turned a blind eye. 2 days later, Reeves was found dead in his holding cell. The file read, "Suicide by hanging." The flash drive was gone. Within weeks, St. Alderon Medical Center announced temporary closure for restructuring. The board of directors vanished from the city. 6 months later, it reopened under a new name, Eden Health Systems, with the same staff, same building, and new investors. The case was quietly closed as unsubstantiated. Detective Quinn filed her resignation, leaving only a note on her desk. "Justice sleeps when power pays its silence." Years later, rumors still ripple through St. Alderon streets. Homeless shelters whisper that recruiters still visit at night, promising jobs at medical facilities. Families still post flyers for missing loved ones near the hospital district, flyers that are torn down by morning. The official records list 172 missing persons between 2019 and 2024. Unofficially, insiders estimate over 400. To this day, no one has been charged. Dr. Leon Hart remains missing, and some claim that Eden Health Systems is expanding, opening new branches in neighboring cities. When night falls over St. Alderon, the city lights glow like surgical lamps, cold, white, and sterile. The people call it progress. But those who remember the disappearances know better, because in that city, life has a price tag, and the poor have always paid it first. The investigation went silent. The truth was buried, and the organ trail remains one of the city's darkest, cold, unsolved mysteries, where justice bled out long before the bodies were found.